From Neo to Dio, nerds like a lot of things, but there's something they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is actually. Joining us on today's episode, we have Jordan Dahl.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Jordan. We have Michelle Wynn Bradley.
Hello there, humans.
And we have Shane Crown.
That is correct information.
an impossibly long lag. It's like, you know, when you like watch a news broadcast and like they're talking with like the reporter in the field, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, so tell us what the storm is like out there, and there's like a good 30 seconds of like,
Just staring into the distance.
terrible, Mike.
It's nerd trivia.
Yeah.
We're really getting hammered out here, but I believe that was the Romulans and not the Klingons.
You've all played this game before, so you know exactly how it works. But for our viewers at home, if you have no idea what's going on here, the game is very simple. I have here a stack of statements. These are incorrect statements about the things you know and love. It's up to these contestants to find what's wrong with what I've said, buzz in, and correct me. All their corrections must be preceded with the phrase, actually. If they don't say it, I won't give them the point, and I'll feel very bad about it. And you can interrupt me whenever you want. As soon as you spot what's wrong, just jump right in there. That's it. Those are the only rules of the game. It's very simple. Y'all ready to play?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You think it's simple, and then you forget that actually thing one time.
That's true, yeah. You get really excited about having the answer, and you just plow right over it, and it's like,
And then the next 3 days, just correcting everyone,
What have I
trying to
done?
make up for it.
All right, buzzers at the ready. Here is the statement. Knuckles the Echidna may not be able to swim, but he has lots of other abilities to make up for it. Knuckles can lift heavy objects, smash through boulders with his fists, glide long distances by trapping air under his dreadlocks, and climb up walls using the spikes on his gloves. Michelle,
wait, did I go first?
Michelle, you buzzed in.
Okay. I gotta wait, okay. Actually, he does not use his dreadlocks to fly. What is that about? That's not a thing.
It's
And if it's true, I'm gonna call Mr. Sega Genesis and ask him some questions.
I think that's how they work, right?
That is not the answer we're looking for. In point of fact, Knuckles can fly by trapping air under his dreadlocks, and I guess those are dreadlocks?
I hate it.
Yeah.
No, I heard. Sorry, I think
Aerodynamic, just like in real
That's
life.
how flight and
I don't live
dreadlocks
on this
work.
planet anymore.
All right, well, Jordan is also buzzed in. Do you have an answer?
Actually, while many of those things are true, he could not lift heavy objects.
He can. He can lift heavy objects. Yeah, he's
His
able,
knuckles.
he's able to do that too. He can do it all.
I think.
Set these- Shane, do you have a guess?
Actually, Knuckles can also swim.
That's correct. I said at the beginning that he may not be able to swim, but in fact, he can. Sonic can't swim.
Rats.
Sonic will
You're
drown
right.
super fast. You'll get that heart racing music, that dirty, 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 dirty. But Knuckles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Boom, 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 boom. And then he has to find a bubble underwater to breathe, which is also how breathing and hedgehogs work,
Yes.
Yes.
as I understand it. My second guess was that the spikes were not on his gloves. Those are his horribly misshapen knuckles.
Sure, like a Wolverine thing. It's like that's
Sure,
just like you put the gloves on, but it's like if you take them off, it's like, oh god, what's happening under there?
To be real, I don't know what an echidna is. I'm probably gonna have to Google that at some point.
Oh,
Like I know what Knuckles looks like, but I don't know what a real echidna looks like, and it's probably the same thing.
Pretty much
I
the
am
same.
envious of the journey you are about to take.
Is it a little one or a big one? Is it dolphin-sized or cat-sized?
They're like hedgehog size.
The two sizes.
You've got a dolphin-sized echidna back there,
Come
right?
on.
Can you just go check? Can you go check the back, please?
I'm here with my girl. I'm trying to impress her. Get the big echidnas.
They're very cute. They're basically hedgehogs, not to be rude to an echidna, but they're basically just like a little bit bigger hedgehog.
Yeah,
They're very
Okay.
cute.
they are.
They're very cute.
But
Are
they've
they-
also
They lay
got, like,
eggs.
look at his weird little feet are webbed. They lay
Is he-
eggs.
It's like a platypus, I guess. It looks like a platypus.
Yes.
The like miscellaneous
Oh.
parts category of just like we'll just throw some things together and call it an animal.
I mean, it's a joke as old as time, but that is definitely either a first day or a last day invention
Yes.
from whoever was inventing the animals.
All right, that's a point for Shane. Here's our next statement. Squidward Q Tentacles from SpongeBob SquarePants has a deceptive name. It's likely he's actually an octopus, since Squidward has only 8 tentacles, while squid have 10. Jordan has buzzed in.
Actually, his middle initial isn't Q.
It is Q. Squidward, Q, tentacles.
Told you. That's what I said.
Shane.
Actually, his last name isn't Tentacles. It is Inksack.
No, it is Squidward tentacle.
Wow.
Jessica's dying up here. Jessica's
she's
the
trying
number
to
one
make
Squidward stan.
Sexy again.
Michelle.
God. Actually, I guess that maybe real squids have less than 10 tentacles, or not just 10. Maybe it's less. I think it's less. Hold on. Actually, real squids have less than 10 tentacles, is my guess.
That is incorrect. Real squid do have
God
10
damn it.
tentacles. Jordan.
Actually, Squidward only has 6 tentacles.
That's correct. Squidward only has 6 tentacles.
Which is nothing.
That's barely more tentacles. That's 2 arms, 2 legs, and then an extra set of legs.
Or when Squidward takes that shirt off, it's just a mess of tentacles. It's a scary
Oh.
hentai nightmare
Yes.
under
It's
there.
the rest
Secret
of them.
private
Just
tentacle
spills
arm.
out like
No,
hundreds of
God.
tentacles.
Boy.
SpongeBob peering in the window like, oh no.
I beheld madness that day.
That point will go to Jordan.
Yes.
And we will move on to our
I've
next
done it.
statement here. There sure are some silly names in Star Wars. Characters appearing in Star Wars movies include Droopy McCool, Elan Sleazebagano, Therm Scissor Punch, Veritably Clean, Slow and Low, and Dexter Jetster.
Wow.
Michelle has buzzed in.
Actually, there's no way in all of God's green earth that Therm Scissor Punch is a real character name that someone was like, cool, let's let that happen. And Disney was like, yeah, we're going to keep that in the archives. We're going to put that in a subtitle for some kid to find one day. No.
I'm
Please
sorry.
tell me it's not true.
I'm sorry, Michelle. Therm Scissor Punch is a large lobster-shaped, lobster-like alien from
no.
maybe Return from. It's one of the new ones. I don't remember where he appears, but it's part of the newer trilogy. Therm
It's
Scissor
in
Punch.
Solo.
It's fun because it's like
That was my
Lobster
guess.
Thermidor, but he's got
Yeah,
scissor hands and he
oh.
punches. Oh, great. Shane, you were the next to buzz in.
Actually, the name, the Sweet and Low, or whichever one that was, is not a character in Star Wars.
You're talking about Slow and Low? Slow and Low is a real Star Wars character.
Oh,
That's
Sweet
first name
Low.
Slowen, last name Lo. I can't tell you much about Slow and Low. I don't remember what Slow and Low's deal is, but Slow and Low is a real Star Wars character.
Nor
Jordan,
I.
do you have a stab for
Boy. I am just swinging in the dark here.
Sure.
These all sound bad enough for George Lucas to have thought they were great. I guess he would draw the line at Veritably Clean, right? Actually, Veritably Clean is not a character in the Star Wars universe.
Jordan, that is correct. Veritably Clean is the full name of Mr. Clean and the line of Mr.
Yes!
Clean cleaning products.
What?
I didn't know he had a full name, first of all.
There was a contest in the 80s or something where they're like, name Mr. Clean, and the winning name was Veritably. So
Incredible.
canonically, Mr. Clean is
Veritably.
named Veritably Clean.
Oh, wow. This is really going to clear up some blind spots in my fan fiction.
I do think it sounds like a Star Wars name. If you said
It sounds like a Victorian
does.
name.
It
Yes,
does.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it does seem...
But that's the thing. I like all Star Wars names are kind of like Dickensian names. They're all these things that are just like, here's a vague description. It's like, oh, you are Darth Vader, like Dark Father.
Sure.
You are, know,
Sure.
Skywalker. You are Therm Scissor Punch,
Yeah.
and you're a lobster. It's like
You are.
Scissor Punch.
Sleaze Bagano is getting me every time. Good God.
I'm a
Nice one.
sleaze bag, but I'm a sleaze bag, and I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly love the names. I love that it's like because Star Wars does take itself so seriously in some respects, where it's like this is an epic fantasy spanning the whole galaxy, but everyone's names are these like kind of goofy Dickensian names. Or
Cue
it's like,
Sleaze Bagano. Yeah.
that's a point for Jordan. This brings us to our fan-submitted question. This question comes to us from @PeterMorris. In the Halo franchise, Master Chief is a biochemically and cybernetically enhanced clone who's part of a group of super soldiers codenamed Spartans. The Spartans fight for humanity against an alliance of religious zealots called the Covenant and a parasitic alien species called the Flood. Jordan is buzzed in.
Actually, Master Chief is not a clone. He's the first one.
That is correct enough. Master Chief is not a clone. They kidnap 6-year-olds to like be part of the Spartans, but then they replace those children with clones, which then raises the question: just use the clone?
True. Yeah. What? I remember that first part, but not the second part.
Well, great, Jordan. You're racking up these points.
This is unusual for me.
This will bring us to our first shiny question of the game. First shiny question. This is a game we're calling Heads Up. We have 6 different elements from the Heads Up displays of 6 different video games here. Whoever can identify the most will get the point. Let's take a look at that first element here. Shane is buzzed in.
Actually, this is BioShock.
That is from BioShock. Yes, that is correct. Shane will get that one. All right, what is this from? Jordan.
Actually, that's from Fallout.
That is not from Fallout. Shane.
Actually, that is from Grand Theft Auto.
That is not Grand Theft Auto. Michelle, do you know this one?
Actually, is this from Overwatch?
That is from Overwatch. Yes, it is. We'll get that one.
That one.
All right, we'll take a look at our next one. Next one here. Jordan and then Shane have buzzed in.
Actually, that's from Portal.
That is from Portal. You each have 1 so far. You each have 1. I'm going to reset your buzzers. Let's take a look at the next one. That's Jordan buzzing in very quickly.
Actually, that's from Grand Theft Auto.
That is from Grand Theft Auto. That is your wanted level in Grand Theft Auto. 2 more left for you. Let's take a look at the next one. Jordan again.
Actually, that's from... Shepard Commander. Shepard...
What?
Actually, this is from that game that I haven't
feel like
played
he's
that
saying
everyone
it.
loves.
I feel like he's already saying it.
You're so close. You're right, but you're not saying the name of the game, which is what I'm looking for.
That's because my brain is a liquid, Mike. I don't know what it's
Called
called.
Sexy Aliens.
It's called Sexy Aliens.
It's
Andromeda, Mass Effect. Actually Mass Effect.
That is Mass Effect. You got there
There we
eventually.
go, buddy.
We've got one last one for you. Let's take a look at the last image here. Michelle is first.
This is from Final Fantasy, and specifically, this is from Seven's drop-down menu.
This
From Final Fantasy, sorry, number 7 is in the one with his twin is Edgar, so it's not the and Rosa, so that's not the first. It's not the second one. It's the third one. This is no. Is this the second one or the third one? Shit! Hold on. I know the characters. And then the guy has this ninja has the dog, and you can save him at
You're
the end.
doing exactly what
The
Jordan
twins-
just did.
I'm loving every second of it.
This is the second one because it has the twins turn to stone, right?
You're right. This is Final Fantasy. This isn't the
the third
second
one,
one.
It's the third one. Does it count? Does it count? I'm freaking out.
I'll give it to you unless Jordan or Shane can tell me what it is.
I was just going to say Final Fantasy.
I'm going to say Final Fantasy 7.
7 is incorrect. Michelle, I'll give it to you. We were looking for Final Fantasy 6.
I said 3, which is American 3. It says Japanese 6, so I was right.
Whoa!
That's worth
You know.
multiple points.
Yeah.
Honestly, she just actually the actually.
We're giving you the point either way. The Blitz option was only an option in that specific game, so that was your tip off of which one it is. Looking at that, Jordan, you got 3. Michelle, you got 2. Shane, you got 1. A valiant effort at the end, Michelle. Jordan is going to run away with that one, unfortunately, but a very good showing all around. Here is our next statement. Alter egos are great for hiding your identity, unless they don't. Some might be a little too obvious, including Black Bolt, aka Blackagar Boltagon, Jubilation Lee, aka Jubilee, Captain Marvel, aka Marvel, and Nightwing, aka Billy Batson. Michelle is buzzed in.
I actually buzzed in early by accident, but I do know the answer.
Okay.
I think I know the answer.
Okay.
Actually, it's not. Nightwing is not Billy Batson. That's not his name. That's not how that works.
That is correct. Nightwing is not Billy Batson. Billy Batson is a character. Do you know who Billy Batson is? I'll give it to you the point either way. I'm just curious if you know.
His dog. I don't know.
Billy Batson is Shazam.
Yeah.
I also love what a phoned in alter ego Blackagar Boltagon is, which is like neither of
Yeah.
those are names. It's like I'm
Not
Black Bolt, but don't let
even-
that confuse you. It's not because of my Black Bolt related ability. It's short for Blackagar and also Boltagon. It also like completely ruins the whole point of an alter ego, where it's like, do you think
Yeah.
Jubilation Lee might be Jubilee? It's like, yeah, maybe.
At some point, somebody's going to come knocking on the door being like, hey, I saw that you blew up a huge part of the mall. Is Jubilee here? No, my name is Jubilation. Fake
X-Men in
mustache.
general is very loose with their names. We've got Jean Grey. I don't think, does she have a nickname?
Jean.
Jean Grey.
Did
She's
you
sometimes
not-
the Phoenix. Sometimes
That's true.
when she's mad, she's Phoenix.
Jean Grey, it
Jean,
strikes
did
me as
you
like
not-
when you have a friend who's like, I'm not gonna come dressed up to the costume party. It's like, come on, we're all
Totally.
doing it, have fun. It's like, no, I'm just gonna be Jean Grey. That's fine.
Yeah, she went by Jean Grey Summers, Marvel Girl, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, White Phoenix of the Crown, and Red
Marvel
Daisy.
Marvel
Girl,
Girl.
girl.
So almost missed.
Marvel
But
Girl.
Marvel.
was-
Marvel Girl was her
But Jean
70s
Grey
name,
was
right?
like her normal name.
That was a missed opportunity to name her Blue Jeans or Jean Blue. I just feel like
Pretty good. Then she could wear jeans.
Power had to be denim based, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't do it. She's like, I don't want to do. It's hard to run in this. It kind of looks.
Yeah.
It's like it's too normal. It's okay. Well, Michelle gets that point, and we will move along to another comics question. Another comics question here. In current Thor comics, Thor is free to change into his mortal form at will, but in early issues, Thor's hammer carried an enchantment stipulating that Thor would turn into Donald Blake if he were separated from Mjolnir for more than 60 seconds. Michelle's buzzed in.
That's cool.
Actually, his name was Dr. Donald Blake, and he didn't go to school for 7 years to be called Donald Blake.
How dare you disrespect Donald Blake like this?
I feel like I was right, even though I wasn't right.
I'm tempted to give you a point for that. That's not what we're looking for. Tell you what, if no one finds what I'm looking for, I'll give you a point for that. Jordan.
Actually, the original Thor wasn't Donald Blake.
No, that's incorrect. That's not what I'm looking for. Shane.
Actually, it wasn't time-based. It was distance-based, like house arrest.
It's a Bluetooth powered Mjolnir. It's like, oh shit, I lost my connection. I got too far away and it just sort of dropped out. No,
Starts buzzing on his hip.
that's not correct. That's not what we're looking for.
That should be how it works, though. I love that.
Fuck it, Michelle. I'll give you the point for your cheeky doctor.
I have another guess.
Do you want to take another stab? Just see if we can get there.
Actually,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't a distance-based thing. It wasn't a time-based thing. It was a kinetic-based thing. He had to slam the hammer down, like in later issues.
No, that's not what we're looking for. I'll go ahead and say
wrong
the answer.
twice. Doesn't
It-
feel great.
This is a very sneaky one because it just sort of slid past here, which is that I said in current Thor comics, Thor is free to change into his mortal form at will. But in fact, in current Thor comics, Thor is free to change into her mortal form at will.
A woman, yeah.
Because the current Thor comics, the current Thor is Jane Foster. So
Natalie Portman,
Natalie Portman.
also a doctor.
Also a doctor. You have to be a doctor if you're going to be the god of lightning. That's a point for Michelle. All right, here is our next statement. Ellen Ripley appears in Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection, even though 57 years passed between the first two movies and 200 years passed between the last two. Ripley doesn't age over these huge spans of time because she was frozen in cryogenic sleep. Shane is buzzed in.
Actually, Ripley wasn't in Alien Resurrection. That was a clone.
You've actually hit the correction I'm going for, even if you've found a different thing to technically be wrong about. So I'm going to count it. She was only frozen in between the first two movies. She's a clone in Alien Resurrection, so that's not the accounting for the time. Yeah, I guess an argument whether is that really Ellen Ripley or not, you could make that argument. The point is you found the thing that I thought was wrong anyway, so I'll give you the point. Ellen Ripley is a clone in Alien Resurrection. And we will move on to our next question, which is a shiny question. In just a moment, I'm going to show you 6 different characters from different franchises and properties, but there's something that they all have in common, something that unites them. Whoever can identify what the thing is that they all have in common will get the point. All right, what do all these characters have in common?
Lucille. Nope, that's not it.
Jordan has buzzed in.
Actually, unfortunately, at some point in their lives, all of these characters lost a hand.
That's correct. All these characters have lost a hand at some point over their storyline.
Much like poor Squidward tentacles. Those 2 missing tentacles. What happened, Squidward?
I should have put Squidward up here too.
Yeah.
That's 1 point for Jordan. Okay, here is our next statement. In Watership Down, a group of rabbits leave the Sandalford Warren when Fiver has a horrible vision of an impending calamity. The truth of this vision is later confirmed by survivors of the Sandalford disaster, Holly and Bluebell. Fiver's gift is rare, but we do meet one other clairvoyant rabbit, Heisenplay of the Ephrafen Warren.
Oh my god, this is... You
Look,
said the first sentence, and I just had like a trauma reaction where I was I couldn't hear the rest of the question.
This being
Yes.
such a narrow point of fandom entry, it's impossible to know if you haven't seen it or read it.
It's fine.
Michelle.
Actually, they don't leave because Fiver has a vision. They leave because like someone gets murdered, like straight up in the beginning. No, is that wrong?
A rabbit
there's a
does get
flood?
killed, but the reason are attacked, but the reason they leave is because it's like, oh, I've seen disaster coming. I've had a vision of the future, and we have to leave now. Something terrible is going to happen. Jordan buzzing in.
You know, Mike, there are about 4 things you could have asked me about Watership Down that I might have known.
Okay.
This was none of those things. Bluebell didn't survive the Sandalford disaster.
Bluebell does. Bluebell survives.
Yeah,
Only rabbit who's cool, I guess. It's fine.
Shane, do you want to take a stab, or
I know nothing about Watership Down, but that might actually free me from the shackles of knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say they're all not real rabbits. They're all stuffed Velveteen rabbits.
What an interesting guess. Extremely wrong. No. We'll go ahead and call it because I know this is a picky one and this is tricky. I said that we only meet one other clairvoyant rabbit over the course of the series, but we actually meet a third clairvoyant rabbit who is Fiver's son at the very end of the book. We will move right along here to our next statement. In the Umbrella Academy, 7 women who had previously shown no signs of pregnancy suddenly give birth at noon on October 1st, 1989. The children are born with strange powers and adopted by an eccentric billionaire, Sir Reginald Hargreaves, who turns them into a team of crime-fighting superheroes. Shane.
Actually, the year wasn't 89.
It was 89.
Oh!
Is that a boring enough answer?
Jordan, what do you got for me?
Actually, there were 8 children born.
Okay, you found what's wrong, which is that there were more than 7, but it was not 8. So I'll give you the answer unless Michelle can, if you can Hail Mary this and you can tell me the number.
Do it.
Actually, there were, I think it was it 12? No, I would say 10 kids, and like 3 of them died or something, or they didn't make it, or something crazy happened. Or they went somewhere else. Someone else got them.
That's not right.
Damn it!
So we'll give it to Jordan. The correct answer we were looking for was that there were 43 women who gave birth
Oh my
on
God.
that date.
Okay.
That was very off.
Holy shit! And only 7 of them had powers. Come
Well,
on.
only Sir Reginald Hargreaves only convinced the mothers. He could only adopt 7 of them. He was trying to adopt them all. The others were like, "No,
I
you can't
see.
do that." So in theory,
Now I'm
there are
keeping
more
my
out there.
power
but-
child,
Yes.
and I'm going to make millions off of him.
Well, this will bring us to our last shiny question of the game. This is a game called Needs More Pixels. Just a moment, I'm going to show you an iconic image from TV or movies, but we have pixelated it beyond the point of recognition. You're only going to get one guess to identify what this is from, but we have several layers of clarity. You can choose to either take your guess or pass. If all of you pass, we'll show you something that's a little bit clearer. That'll make it easier for you, but also easier for your competitors. All right, let's take a look at that image and tell me if you want to use your guess or if you want to pass to the next level of clarity.
Who this fancy thing person?
This is nothing to me.
All right, passes all around. Let's get one level clearer.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Passes.
Shane immediately saying he's going to pass. What else?
Pass.
Michelle's
wait.
pass.
What? No, it's a pass.
Okay,
I'm gonna guess.
you're going to guess. Jordan, what is this?
Actually, this is still from Planet of the Apes.
That is correct. This is Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I thought that was a castle.
I'm the psychic rabbit from Watership Down.
Oh.
Very good. Yes, there it is. That's the image that it should look like. And we're at the end of our game now, folks. We only got one more question left, which, as always, concerns real life skills. What is our point spread looking like as we go in here? Jordan with 7, Shane and Michelle both with 2. Well, I think Jordan's locked this up, but
I would just like to say
don't
this
know.
is very unusual for you guys.
We're just
What if
here.
I-
Hello.
What if I put it all on the line?
I'm going to bet all my points, double or nothing.
I'll put them all up, whoever gets this one.
Well, our last question, as always, does concern real life skills. So this one is perhaps a little bit more important than any of the other ones.
Oh, then I don't want. I want my points back. I'm not good at this.
While many state governments have enacted term limits for elected officials, on the federal level, only the president and vice president are limited to 2 4-year terms in their respective offices. All other federal officials can, in theory, serve an unlimited number of terms for an unlimited number of years. Michelle.
Actually, except for that's not true for the Supreme Court. They have to serve for life.
It is an unlimited number of years, but I don't think there's
I
any
mean, they
term
don't,
limit.
they don't have to be killed. It's just that they just.
There's
It's just that. Like,
yeah, there
I
are no
tried.
term limits
Whatever.
to the Supreme Court. You can
Oh,
serve as
I
long
see
as you
what- I
want.
see
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah. Jordan.
It is till death, though. That is
Yeah.
interesting. Actually, what about the vice president?
What about the vice president?
Yeah.
They can only serve 4 years too.
That's what I say in here. I say
Oh, well,
He's like, yes,
only
I
the-
agree.
look, Mike. I started this whole thing by saying I'm not very good at these.
Shane, do you have a stab?
Actually,
Yes.
everything in the executive branch of government has a term limit.
Incorrect. That's incorrect. It's a good guess, though. I'll go ahead and call it, since it seems like we're all staring into space here.
Please,
Jordan,
I'm drowning. Help
Jordan,
me.
I'll say you actually were shockingly close. You just got it backwards, which is that in the question, I say that the vice president has a term limit, but in point of fact, there are no term limits on vice presidents. In theory,
Whoa.
you could be vice president over and over and over again.
Every year.
Well, no points for that one, but that still means that Jordan is our winner.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections right here on Actually.